JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 6th of October 2022. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation. It should not be considered as such and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which I believe you can find it useful. So yeah, check it out for more information about us. Okay, so into the charts. So the first one, as always, Nikkei 225. So as you can see, we pushed further north. We pushed further above that 21-day EMA. We reached my other target, the 27,296 territory, and almost managed to reach the 100 and the 200-day EMAs. So at the moment, I would say I am gonna still stick to the upside. However, at this point, I would like to see a clear break through this 200-day EMA in order to go for a larger correction here to the upside. Because don't forget that we are in a correction mode because we are still trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 17th of August. In terms of the downside, I would say if you're looking for some lower levels, then maybe from the very short-term perspective, of course, maybe this area could be an interest for you. So if we do fall back below this 27,000 mark, then yes, we'll consider maybe a move towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 9th of March. Now, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index, still waiting for this one to make a move. If you remember, I talked about this and I said that, well, keep your eyes on this 18,235 territory. Well, I'm still keeping an eye on it, so I need to see a clear break through it in order to go higher, because at the same time, we could get a break above the 21-day EMA, so keep that in mind. For the downside, if you're looking for some lower levels, then, well, I think that I need to put this on the chart. Just bear with me one moment. So maybe a drop below this low, the low of the 5th of October, near the 17,683 territory. A nice good drop below it may attract a few more sellers here into the game, and then we will go from there. Now, ASX 200, the Australian index. So this one is stalling here a little bit, I would say. So the only thing is that what I said before, that look, I mean, as long as we stay above this 6,700 territory, then yeah, we could go higher. There is, of course, an opportunity for the bulls to step in somewhere maybe near this area, near the 6,573. But if that gets clear, then yes, I'm aiming for the downside. Of course, you could keep an eye already on that 6,700 territory if you're comfortable with that, but of course you need to have your stop loss in place, because again, something like that could be possible. But at the moment, looking at where the index is at this point, we are near this downside line, so yeah, I'm still aiming for it, for a nice little test of it. The German index, DAX, yeah, we had a nice little retracement here yesterday, so but it's quite interesting that we managed to find support near this highlighted territory, which is between the 12,391 and the 12,439 levels. So this arrow has to go this way basically. So yesterday we've moved higher, but we we continue to oscillate around the 21-day EMA. So at the moment, I would say if you're looking for some higher levels, then probably the better option is to keep an eye on the current highest point of this week near the 12,670 territory. Nice good pop above it may attract a few more buyers into the game, and we could go towards a larger correction here to the upside. Now, in term looking at the cash index right now, we'll see that the index is trading at around 12,660 territory. So basically, we're just fractionally below this barrier. So if we can clear it, then yes, I'll go further north. Nasdaq 100 still within the falling channel pattern, something why this has not saved. I mean, this is interesting because I did save it and I did look. I mean, I've drawn it differently yesterday, so let me just remove it again and draw it again because yeah, this is quite interesting, I would say. Let me just grab a few lines because this is what I've drawn yesterday, and I don't know why I didn't save, but hey, okay, we'll draw it again. It's not a problem. Anyway, so basically this is what I'm looking at right now, something like that. So if we, given that we've pushed above this barrier, this 11,170, I talked about that barrier and I said that if we push through it, then yes, I'll go towards the upside here, and my next target will be this 11,500 zone, which we managed to reach. Great. We also managed to overshoot it, and that's also great. So now basically we're getting closer to the upper side of the falling channel here. Let's see if it can provide a resistance of some sort, because also slightly below it we do have the 21-day EMA. So maybe we could get a scenario something like here on the 12th of September. So where we overshoot the 21-day EMA, but actually we then drift back to the downside. So let's see how that's going to play out. So that's why if you're looking for some higher levels, then a break of this upper side of the falling channel is required, basically. For the downside, now this is where I need to adjust my arrows here a little bit, and I think that I need to adjust a few levels too. So first of all, this has to go, but I think I'm going to recycle it and I'm going to put it here. Now, this is the scenario for the downside for me. So from somewhere from around this area, this 11,296, so approximately around there. So as you can see, it acted as a good area of resistance and support. So a nice good drop below it may attract a few more sellers into the game. In terms of the next potential target, I will aim for the lowest point of September initially, and then I'll take it from there, because again, at the moment, let's keep it short and simple, guys. So at the moment, I'm gonna aim for something like that for the downside, but that confirmation break is needed. S&P 500. So the S&P 500 also did a good move. I mean, initially, but it kind of had a bit of a roller coaster ride, so not really clear. So I would say you need to be very careful for now, and we are still getting a hold up near that 21-day EMA. So basically, everything's working out perfectly here with this 3,796 territory around it. We do have, like I said, we do have that 21-day EMA here as well. So in order to go higher, we need to see a nice good push above it. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for in order to consider some higher moves. If we start falling back, and this is where I need to adjust this, there we go. If we start falling below this territory here, the 3,721, 27, something like that, if we start falling back below this, then yeah, I'll go to the downside, where I'm going to aim for my lowest point of September near the 3,584 territory, and then we will take it from there. So let me just use this highlighted territory here for my I think this is going to be a little bit better. So this is the downside scenario. DXY, the dollar index, so had a nice rebound yesterday. We came very close to testing this upside support line, and I would say, look, I mean, at the moment, just gonna observe this because we kind of already did the move. So what I was talking about previously, I said that if we do drop below the 112.56 territory, then I'll aim for this 110.46 zone, or even a little bit below it. So yeah, we managed to reach that. So now the question is, what's going to happen next? I would say if we're looking for some lower levels. Now, I think a few adjustments have to be made here. If we're looking for some lower levels, I would prefer actually to wait for a drop below the current lowest point of October, near the 110.05 level. At the same time, we could see a break of this upside line, and this could lead to a test of this other upside support line. So basically what it means that in a way we're still in the correction mode. So overall the trend is to the upside. So yeah, at the moment we're in correction mode, so all fine. So yeah, if you're looking for some lower levels, then this is probably a good option to consider. In terms of the upside, well, the upside, I would start looking at some higher levels if we do push back above the 112.56 territory right here, and then we will take it from there. Maybe we'll start aiming for that highest point of September, which is roughly around here, near the 114.78 level. Now, jumping into gold very quickly. So, gold managed to stay above this downside line, so that's good for the bulls, or should I say, could be good for the bulls. Now, a few arrows have to be adjusted here. So, basically, if we do fall back below the this downside line, I will remain neutral as long as we stay somewhere in here. But if we start falling below the 1689 level, then that's where I'm going to get a little bit more excited with some lower levels, and then we will take it from there. There's a bunch of other targets to consider. But yeah, guys, at the moment, I am going to keep it short and simple. So, in terms of the upside, now I do have this 1735 level, but I think I need to adjust this a little bit because I think that the we need to kind of keep an eye on this 1729 level as well. This is the current highest point of October. So I would say this way that I will remove this. Oh, well, actually, no, I'm going to keep it. But I'm initially keeping an eye on that 1729 territory. If we clear that, then yes, I'll go slowly to the upside. Then I'll aim for that 1735. We might get a little stall here, but if that gets cleared, well, my next target is the 100-day EMA, and I think that my arrow has to go here. So the next target is the 100-day EMA, and then we will take it from there. So the 1765 territory here could be an interesting one, or this 200-day EMA. But let's not rush into anything. Let's first see if we can clear this 1729 zone. Now, WTI oil, of course, everybody's concerned about oil again. Again, it's in the spotlight due to OPEC decisions. So you can have a read about it. So yeah, OPEC is trying to make some cuts on oil. In a way, I would say from the environmental side, yes, it's great, good. From the keeping the price of oil lower, not good. So, go figure. So in a way, look, in general, we can debate a lot on all this, and I don't think that there will be a right answer. So there will never be a right answer which way is better, because on one side you're benefiting somebody, on the other, if you do it this way, on the other side, you're harming someone. So, and if you do it the opposite, then the other side is benefiting. So I would say, like I said, it's a tricky one as always. The only thing that we can do is basically try to be reasonable with everything, with our consumption, not to go crazy on anything, and just kind of keep that in mind. I mean, yes, we need to continue to run the economy, but just like I said, just everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. That's no wonder everybody keeps on saying this. So yep, everything in moderation, guys. So at the moment, looking at the price here, we've from looking at the technical picture, we broke the downside line taken from the high of the 14th of June. So that's great. For the bulls, we stayed above this downside line, also a good sign. So at the moment, yeah, as I said before, if we clear this, I will continue aiming higher, but only up until this 100 and the 200-day EMAs. So these are going to be my targets. I want to see if we can reach that. If we can, great, and then I'll go from there. But at the moment, like I said, yeah, I'm just observing the price action. On the way higher here, we do have this obstacle, the 90.17 zone. So yeah, at the moment, keep that in mind. If we do start falling back below this downside line, now previously I talked about this hurdle here, this 79.45, and it still remains in the level of interest for me, but I think it's time to lift this a little bit here, and I think that we can start looking at some lower levels already from a break of this 82.11, or you could keep an eye on this upside support line taken from the low of the 28th of September. This is a short-term tentative upside support line, but hey, it could play out nicely together with this level right here. Now, Litecoin, haven't looked at this one for quite a while. I mean, look, last time I looked at it, I said that, hey, this might be a nice little range, but as you can see here, it's not really acting as a good range, so I think that this one's my bad. I have to admit, but that's why, the crypto world is always a little bit unpredictable in that sense, and sometimes it's very technical, sometimes it just kind of ignores all the technicalities and yeah, kind of just does whatever it wants. So I think that what's important here is to remove everything. And basically, I will just stick at this point in time. I will stick to, of course, to a few support and resistance levels. But at the same time, I'll mainly watch these EMAs, the 21-day, the 100-day, and the 200-day EMAs. So at the moment, as you can see, we continue to oscillate around the 21-day EMA. We're not really shifting too far from it. We're even getting closer to the 100-day EMA and especially the 200-day EMA. So if you're looking for some higher levels, I would say ideally, I would like to see a break through this 200-day EMA, and then I'll go higher. Certainly, you could start already looking at some higher levels from around here, from around the 65.64 level, or if you're looking for some downside, then from probably somewhere around here, the 40.35 level. So this is quite a key important support zone. So let's keep those two levels here. But again, I'm not going to draw anything else. I'm just going to stick for now with the EMAs mainly. Now, jumping into a few pairs, AUD, NZD, guys, haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but hey, look, so it was working out nicely. I really like this pair in general. It was working out nicely, and I think that also I need to refresh this and start, from scratch. So one thing for sure is that we have dropped below the 21-day EMA. Now, on one hand, it's a bearish indication. On the other hand, look, we could see a drop here as well. We saw a drop here. We moved towards that 100-day EMA and then rebounded and pushed back up. So the only thing is that what's supporting me a little bit more for further downside is the fact that we have broken this upside support line right here, and now we can, now it's kind of opening the door towards lower levels. My next target in this case, as long as we remain below this 21-day EMA, my next target is somewhere around here, I think. So near the 1.1128, 27, something like that, which currently coincides with the 100-day EMA. But again, this might shift a little bit later on, but somewhere around here, that's what I'm going to be considering. Certainly, there's another little level right here to consider, which could be a little obstacle on the way lower, the 1.1192. So if you want, you can keep that in that one as the first one, and then aim for this one later on. But so yeah, that would be probably the the easier option, the safer option. So if you're looking for some further declines, then as long as it stays below the 21-day EMA, I'm going to aim initially for this level, and then ideally for this 100-day EMA together with this 1.1128. Not specifically exactly that level, but just mainly the area. So for example, if it drifts lower, but let's say travels somewhere till here, till maybe some 1.1150 or something like that. I will take that as a success. So yeah, I keep mentioning this, guys. I mean, it's not always the exact level, it's just kind of the area near it. So if you, like I said, if you see the pair traveling somewhere around here towards that 1.1150 and then stalling somewhere around here, that's a good success. That's a good result. That's great. That's wonderful. You can take your profits here, and and we can take it from there. Maybe it will drift further south, but to be honest, you cannot you cannot always have perfect execution. And a very important rule that I have to kind of tell you guys: there's always leave something for the next guy. So if you think that this could go lower, you can exit a little bit lower or earlier, and then somebody else can jump in there, capture something, and then like I said, always leave something for the next guy. That's the one of the rules that I always follow, and this kind of helps you not to be too greedy. Now, jumping back into NZD, which I talked about yesterday, and I said that if we push above the 0.5722 territory, or if we stay above it, then yeah, I'll go higher. I'll go initially for that 21-day EMA or this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 15th of August. Now, so far, everything's working out. So at the moment, I'm still aiming higher as long as we stay above this 0.5722. If we fall back below it, I will consider a move lower, and then we will take it from there, guys. USD JPY, again, the same story. I keep on mentioning this this is my second week already that I'm talking about this, and well, it's the same game plan. Basically, a range, waiting for a clear breakout. We need to see the rate kind of breaking out and then staying either above or below the sides of the range, and then we will consider the next short-term directional move. USD CAD. Now, 1.3646. I talked about that level previously. We fell below it. That was the high of the 14th of July. So we fell below it, and we stayed below it. We had yesterday a push, kind of a false breakout again, but we stayed below it, and now we're seeing further. So basically, this arrow here is working out nicely. So we dropped below it. We're moving lower. I think that we can remove this line. No longer needed. It did its purpose. I mean, it had its purpose. It did his job. So what I can do here right now is mark this instead. So this 1.3605 area, which is interesting to watch too, because again, we're currently below it. We're currently below that 1.36 zone. So if we stay continue to trade below it, I'm gonna aim for this upper side of the rising channel, if you remember here, which I've drawn. So yep, at the moment that's gonna be my target, together with the 21-day EMA, only if we stay below the 1.36 territory. If we push up here, this is where I need to make a few adjustments. So first of all, I need to mark the current highest point of sorry, not the current highest point, but the highest point of September. So also near the current highest point of October. So the 1.3833 territory. That's was something that I'm gonna be keeping an eye on. I will consider a move towards that area again if we push above the 1.3695 territory right here, and then we will go from there, guys. So at the moment, it could present itself with nice opportunities, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside right now, towards that 21-day EMA, together with the upper side of the rising channel. If, like I said, I might be wrong. If we start pushing higher here and we clear and stay above this 1.3695 territory. USD South African Rand, guys, something that I've missed out for quite a while. I mean, this is something that I do look at occasionally. So let me remove all the drawings and let us start fresh. Now, overall, you can see this nice move here to the upside. You can see that we have been climbing higher. We found good resistance around here near the 18.22 territory. After we have reversed from here, basically from this area. Let me just there we go. So I of course, some of you would say, hey, let's draw a Fibonacci here, but given that we had all these declines here, so, you know, it's a little bit of a tricky one. So another thing, of course, I don't really look at that theory very often, but those people who like Elliott waves will probably start ringing, you know, the bells, saying that, hey, this is like, looks like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the 5th wave, and now we're, you know, kind of, or we could be seeing a drop. Look, I'm not denying this. I mean, this could be, you know, it could play out nicely, but in general, it's also playing out with some of my theories here as well. So, you know, we could see, let me just put this. So we have ourselves an upside support line right here. So again, some of you might see this maybe as a channel, but some of you might see this as a rising wedge pattern. So if this is the case, if this is a rising wedge, this could result into, you know, some lower levels later on. But of course, I would say maybe this is not an ideal wedge because we do have a bit of gaps here, but we can draw this upside line. So in a way, we can consider this as a wedge, or if you want, we can consider this as a nice rising channel, which also could be an interesting one. So look, a lot of things here that can play out nicely here for everybody, and I think that this is the pair and this is the moment where everybody's going to be right, honestly. Like whatever theory you're going to apply, everything is going to work here or could work, but it leads still, everything leads to the same thing. You need a confirmation break. You cannot really go any further. Like, okay, you can start, you know, assuming here. We can start assuming. We can start thinking, hey, maybe this is a wedge here, a rising wedge. Maybe this is like, you know, the 5th wave, and now we're going to go for that ABC correction and blah blah blah. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, you could be right. But still, for me, I would not do anything here until I get, let's say, at least a drop below this 17.57 territory. And then it will go from there, because a nice good drop below it could lead, will mean that it's dropping below the 21-day EMA, and my next target will be this 100-day EMA together with this upside support line taken from the low of the 9th of June. So you can simplify all that, not like to have all that, you know, complex things in your head. Simplify that and just basically have your stop loss in place, have your, you know, always risk what you're willing to lose, and everything will be fine. So yeah, like I said, guys, at this point, like I said, just let's see how this is going to play out. But I just wanted to run this by you because this is quite an interesting one. GBP USD. So yeah, nice drift back to the downside, back below the 1.1414 zone, and we're currently resting on that 21-day EMA. So at the moment, I am leaning a little bit more towards the downside. However, as I said before, that look, if we do fall back below the 1.1414, we could, you know, find that hold up near the 21-day EMA right here, and then we will go from there. Now, right now, what I'm looking at here is this 1.1240. A nice good drop below it may lead to a bit of a decline here. So let's see how this is going to play out. At the moment, I'm just observing this one, but if we do fall below this 1.1240 zone, then yeah, I'll go a little bit to the downside. So here you can see that this level acted as a good area of resistance and support in the past, so that's why I'm going to keep an eye on it for now, and then if we see the drop below this, then yes, I'll go lower. For the upside, now this is where I think that this 1.1414 has to go. It's no longer needed, although it's quite an interesting level still for me. This is the lowest point of March of 2020. So look, we can still keep an eye on it. If we push through it, then yes, we could go a little bit further north, but stick to the current highest point of October near the 1.1496. A nice good clearance of that may attract more buyers, would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then aim for that 100-day EMA. GBP CHF, so there we go. So we're getting that correction. We're breaking the upside line. This can go, no longer needed. Now I'm still sticking to this downside line, which we will be testing from above, together with the 21-day EMA. Now what I'm going to stick to is my game plan for the downside. So if we do drop below this downside line, below the 21-day EMA and below the 1.1007, then yes, I will go lower. At this point, I'm just observing the price action. For me, this could be seen as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying, but hey, we've seen this happening several times where, let's say, when it breaks the a downside or an upside line, it then retraces a little bit to test it from above or underneath, and then it rebounds and then kind of pushes in the same previous direction. So that, I'm not excluding that. That has been happening, and I've talked about these scenarios in my videos. So keep that in mind. Do not exclude also like a false breakout here. For example, we could pierce all this through, but by the end of the day, we could come back here and move back to the upside. So let's not rush into anything. Let's first keep an eye on this. If we do drop below this 1.1007, I will get rid of this downside line, of course, but hey, at the moment I'm keeping it. GBP Aussie, so also nice. Look, yesterday I said that mission accomplished. I've reached my target, the 1.7653. Now we're seeing that little correction here to the downside. Everything's fine. So let's see if we can do something like this. So basically, currently I'm aiming for that 100-day EMA, so we're not far from it. So that's just kind of a few, like 10 pips away or something like that. Then I'm gonna, if we do clear this, I'm gonna keep an eye on this territory here, the 1.7215, and then kind of we'll go from there. At this point, yeah, it's quite interesting to see what's gonna happen further, but yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm leaning towards the downside right now, but very carefully. So if we do fall below the 1.7133 territory right here, now that at the same time we could fall below the 21-day EMA, and this could potentially open the door towards some lower levels. So keep that in mind. Euro CHF very quickly. So yeah, I looked at this one previously and I talked about this 0.9712 territory. So we're getting a nice hold up here right now. It's acting as a good area of support. Previously it was looked at as a resistance, which we cleared. Okay, now the question is, can we keep an eye on? I mean, can this hold? Well, one thing that I am trying to kind of I'm really putting a lot of hope here on the some of these levels. However, I will have to admit that maybe it's the EMAs that I need to keep an eye on, because at the moment, yes, we're resting here on this key important level. Let's see if we can rebound from it. If we can, then yes, of course, then I'll keep an eye on the current highest point of October near the 0.98 territory. If we clear that, then we'll go higher. But if we do start dropping back below the 21-day EMA, now that's where I will consider a bit of a move to the downside. Not saying that I'm going to be very bearish or anything, because still I would have to consider this is a possible kind of trend line, but again, we'll get to that point later on, but not now. EURUSD, so yeah, we've pushed higher, we then retraced back down, and look at this 0.9864 territory did provide good support. This level here, the 0.9955, was a good target. However, didn't really play out very well. So I think it's better to put it here near this. I think it's better to mark this level, the 1.0051, something like that. So if we do get a nice break through that barrier, then at the same time we would get a break through the downside line, and then we could go higher. So right now, if you're looking for some upside, I would say keep your eyes on this downside line and this 1.0051 level. If we clear that, then yes, I will go higher. At this point, any activity around here, it's something neutral for me. Previously I talked about the 0.9733 territories for the downside, but I think that we can now start looking at this level as well. So if we fall below this, we could start aiming lower, but keeping our stop loss near us, because it could drift lower, maybe find support here and then rebound and push back up. So, but again, if we do fall below this area, I'm gonna consider a move to the downside. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, your comments, guys. I really appreciate everything. So thank you a lot. Thank you for sparing me time, you know, to join in into this video. Or I really appreciate that. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, guys, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.